Welcome, Gunrunner.
Hello everybody, Q&A the Laird here, and I'm back again with another look at a nice book. And you might remember that last week I looked at my own new book, a compendium of ZX Spectrum games, and now I am back just a week later with a compendium of Atari 2600 games. The sequel, if you will, or should I just say the follow-up book. And, well, the games are falling down in the background, that's good. And this book is exactly the same thing, pretty much, but for the Atari 2600, as you probably already guessed. So I've managed to get two books out pretty thick and fast here, which is quite satisfying. And you can see there in the background my own original wood grain VCS, video computer system, or 2600 as everyone pretty much calls it now, especially seeing as Atari made the insane choice to call their new system the VCS as well, which to me makes absolutely no sense. It was really stupid. An Atari box was a far better name that made a lot more sense. So here we go. So as before, as with the Spectrum book, we have a hardback here, marked the collector's edition, and we have a paperback. As also before, the books are identical. The contents is the same in both. The only difference is the cover being slightly different, obviously with the collector's edition thing, and one being hard, one being soft. So you can see that the hardback is quite a bit thicker, literally just because of that cover. But otherwise, they are identical. So we'll grab one of them. We'll grab the paperback because, that, as I said on the last video, it's actually easier. So, as before, so the paperback is $9.99 and the hardback is $16.99, same price as they were with the Spectrum books. And I think that's blooming good value for the amount you get. I mean, how many pages is it? It's, yeah, so it's 160 pages, which I don't think is too bad at all for a tenner. I think that's pretty good value, to be honest. I think there's a lot of books in that kind of size that cost a lot more. I've seen them more up at the kind of £20 mark, even for paperbacks, not just hardbacks. So let's have a look at what we've got in volume 1, because I am planning to do more of them. I already have actually volume 2 completely planned out. And I also need to mention, it's the same as I did with the ZX Spectrum book, is this book is a compilation of my first 3 digital books that I did for the Atari 2600. So volume A set of Atari 2600 games, volume 1, volume 2 and volume 3. So it has all of those 3 books put into it, plus a load of bonus reviews as well, to bring it up to 10 games per letter. Without the bonus stuff, it would have been 9. So basically, effectively, you're getting a free extra, well, not a free, an extra review for each letter of the alphabet. So that's what's in there. And all the reviews have been redesigned, same as with the Spectrum book, and all new images and everything. So, I mean, actually quite a lot of the reviews have been adjusted. Some have even been rewritten in this book, probably a little bit more so than the Spectrum book, actually. I made quite a few more adjustments with this one. So, same formats, as you can see. We've started with, we've got a long contents list that lists each game and the page number it appears on. We have my introduction, which is completely new. It's not the same as the ones that was in the digital volumes that I've done. So there we go. And then we go in, so we just have the letter and into the reviews themselves. So it covers a really wide range of stuff. We've got the oldest games like Adventure and Air Sea Battle there, which was a launch game, and right up to modern day stuff. Actually, you saw on the page before there, because Acid Drop was actually the last commercial game released for the Atari 2600. So I've got the first games in there and I've got the last games in there as well. So there's a really wide range of titles. We've also got homebrew stuff in there. So it's actually really handy that I just kind of happened to turn to that page because Hunchy is a homebrew. It's kind of a homebrew version of the classic arcade game Hunchback, but for the Atari 2600. So that's in there as well. So we've got homebrews in there as well as your regular games. We've also got prototypes in there. For example, Ixion there was a Sega prototype which was released to the community in more recent years. You can actually buy it on cart. There's some other ones like that actually. There's Kaboba by Activision. There's quite a few quite interesting prototypes which are by Activision, so they made it into the book as well. So we've got stuff like that. In many cases you'll see that I use, because I'm British, so warning for Americans kind of thing, I will use the UK release dates, UK publishers and stuff like that. So for example, Kung Fu Super Kicks I've got listed as telegames. Actually I think I've used the original release date, but I've got listed as telegames. So obviously the Americans, it was released by Zonox versus Chuck Norris Super Kicks, but there was a PAL released by telegames under the title Kung Fu Super Kicks. So for example, some of the Coleco games have been listed as CBS Electronics, etc. I've also got a lot of the kind of Asian stuff, the weird bootlegs and stuff like that, laser base, one of those kind of Taiwan games, as people call them. There's stuff like that in there. There's some more homebrew stuff. Gives you a little look through. There's lots of the classics in there. So you'll see all the games you know and love, like, there's River Raid, for example. But you'll also see, some more obscure stuff that you might not know. Space Jockey, for example. Pretty decent game, but a lot of people won't know it. So there's a good example of a real bootleg game, because Underwater Beasts, which I've reviewed in there, is actually a hack of Sequest. It's been hacked quite a bit. The graphics have been changed, colours have been changed, stuff like that. So I've got stuff like that in there as well. And I have also got some hacks in here. I was trying to find an example, but I haven't managed to find one. Actually, I know where there is one. So homebrew hacks, even rather than opposed to bootleg hacks. So for example, their UFO Wars by Neo Tokyo is, believe it or not, you wouldn't know it from looking at the screenshot, but it's actually a hack of Space Jockey, but it looks considerably different. So I've got a few things like that in there as well, because I think they're interesting and I think they're worth looking at. I've even got some of the infamous Atari 2600 porn games in there, like there's X-Man. Absolutely horrific game. I don't even know why that thing exists, but yeah, there's a really wide range of different stuff that I put in there. There's another hack. That's a hack of Freeway. What else? Interesting stuff like Yar's Return, which is a homebrew, but the interesting thing about this was it was especially made for the Atari flashback consoles. Atari kind of commissioned it to be made for them, and then later on people dumped the ROM off the flashback and found a way of playing it on real systems. So that's pretty cool. A lot of people might not be aware of that game even exists. And there we go. I mean, that's pretty much all there is to tell you, really. I can't exactly review the book because it's my book. So otherwise I would just be giving it 10 out of 10, wouldn't I? But yeah, I really enjoyed making this book, and it's really nice to see it finally in print form, along with my Spectrum book there, which is advertised at the back. And I mentioned this before, but I have more of these coming. These were the first two, done pretty close together, and I have already finished 3 more ready for the publishers to put them together, which are not A to Z, because that's the digital books, a compendium of Atari 8-bit games, a compendium of Sega Master System games, and a compendium of Commodore 64 games. All those books are basically done, so they will go now to the publisher to be put together into books like this. I can't tell you when that will be, because both the Spectrum book and the Atari 2600 book took longer than initially I expected, because at the end of the day my publisher is very, very busy with lots of other stuff. They have fingers in lots of pies. For example, they were involved in the Commodore 64 Mini and the new full-size Commodore 64 that's coming out, so they're involved in that as well. So they're always very busy with lots of different things. So I can't give you a time scale on when they'll come out, but they will be coming out, so look out for them. You can always follow my author page on Amazon. I'll drop the link in the comments below for both for my author page, where you can go and look at what books I've got, order these books or any others you want to, like the Spectrum book as well, can be ordered from there. And also, if you follow it, you'll be able to see when new books are released. You'll be able to see when new print versions, the ones I just mentioned, and others that I'm planning as well, because there'll be lots of more systems in the future. I mean, there'll definitely be Atari ST, Mega Drive, NES, all the usual suspects really. I'm trying to cover as many retro systems as possible, but I started off with the 2600 and the Spectrum because they were the first two systems I owned, so there was a logic to doing those systems first, and probably two of the systems that have the most nostalgia for me because of that. Also, if you are a fan of Kindle books rather than print books, then please check out my A to Z series, where I have covered pretty much every format you can think of. MSX, CDI, ColecoVision, Atari Jaguar. I've got a BBC Micro one coming soon. I've done the Amstrad CPC. I've done absolutely tons of systems across the A to Z. From more obscure stuff to really popular stuff. The one that's been selling really well recently is the Amiga book, for example. So I'm sure that will get turned into a print book at some point too. So please go and check those out. So I thank you for watching my little look at a compendium of Atari 2600 games. I wholeheartedly encourage you to go out and buy this amazing book, if I do say so myself, because I'm amazingly happy with how it turned out, and I'm sure you will be too. And I'll see you all again for another video very soon. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.